And welcome back to Music Free Static. I hope you're having a fabulous day. And I wanted to talk a little bit about Twitch and a new feature they've rolled out called power-ups. Okay, now, power-ups, they look like channel points, right? So if you've been on Twitch, they've got the little thing at the bottom of the chat. You click pop up and, oh yeah, click a button and you can use channel points to do things, okay? What you can do varies based off streamer, but there's the potential to do things like unlock subscriber-only emotes and things like that, right? But the new power-ups are based off of bits, which are Twitch's paid currency thing, right? So you buy bits with actual money, and then the bits account are given to the streamer, and they amount to something. In the US, it's basically 1 bit is 1 cent, okay? That goes straight to the streamer. Twitch takes their cut when you buy the bits, as opposed to like a sub, which they take it when you subscribe. Okay, cool. But the power-ups, they've got 3 right now, and you can't change them, which is weird, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But 1, it allows you to post a giant emote in chat. Second one is like, they already have like a highlight my message thing, but this one makes it big and bright and puts a big flashy border around it as it scrolls through chat. And then the third, they call it an on-screen celebration. It's basically this emote waterfall, right? So you get 1.5 zillion emotes to just fall over the stream. Now, here's the thing, okay? You can't turn them off. Right? As a streamer, you can't turn these things off. And the initial costs are fairly low, actually. So if you as a streamer don't like any of that stuff, you don't want that in your stream, there's nothing you can do about it except set the cost to its max, which I think is like 10,000 bits or $100, basically. And then hope that the price turns off people from using it, right? It's really weird. Now, the other weird side of this is you can't turn off channel points now either, right? If you were using channel points to do things, and you said, okay, I don't want to do that, you can't turn them off or on. Apparently, the message that Twitch has in the dashboard says, we've temporarily removed the ability to enable or disable channel points, but we'll restore this feature shortly. Assuming Twitch is being honest there and will in fact restore that feature, you can't, if you've turned them off, you can't turn them back on now, which is weird. You can't turn them off, which turning them off probably would disable these power-ups, which Twitch doesn't really seem to want streamers to do. Now, I want to back up just a moment as I'm talking about this, because these are a lot of things that change. I mean, these 3 power-ups that change how a stream looks to a viewer, okay? You've got this giant emote that takes up a huge amount of real estate in the chat scroll as it goes by. You got this big, bright, flashy notice me box right around a message. Again, it takes up a huge amount of space in the chat scroll. And then you've got this emote waterfall, which basically covers everything that's happening on stream, right? You can barely see any of the actual streamed content when this is happening, okay? So let's look at this from a streamer's perspective, okay? Because that's where a lot of the concern is coming from. Streamers like to control just about everything about their stream and about their presentation, right? A stream is really a performance, okay? When a streamer sits down and they fire up a game to play, they're performing, okay? And the performance isn't just them playing the game. Okay, it's just not, that's okay. Some streamers it kind of is, but for most streamers, it's not. You've got the game performance, right? Which is certainly part of it. But you then also have the streamers' reactions, what they're talking about, how their presence on stream. Okay, are they fun? Are they wild? Are they chill? Do they talk about subjects that you like? I certainly know a couple that you can't get through a stream from Good Times with Scar without a discussion of Star Wars, right? Or a stream on Tango Tech without talking about hockey at some point, okay? Because these are things that these streamers are passionate about. So they talk about those things. There are other streamers that really like to dive into contentious things like politics and stuff like that, right? And that's why these people watch. That's why viewers watch those streamers over other streamers. It's because the overall presentation of the game plus the streamer, the performer, okay? And streamers like to control what that presentation looks like to a viewer, okay? So it's common for streamers to set up events for alerts, right? So if somebody cheers a bunch of bits, some form of notification will pop up, okay? Or and usually what they'll do is they'll call out, thanks for the bits. Hey, this one's got a message. They'll respond to the message or not, depending on. Sometimes they'll read it out, I suppose, right? Depending on what's there. I know a few streamers, like the aforementioned Good Times with Scar, if your bit donation is over a certain amount, it'll kick in a text-to-speech, which will read the message out on stream, okay? Because that's the way they like to do things, right? And they like to control, okay, are we going to have a big image that pops up? Is it just going to be a little thing? And it depends. It really depends. I've got, these events are fairly rare on my stream because my audience is very small. So I do have sort of a larger thing that pops when I stream over at Music Free Gaming on YouTube that does things, okay? But for bigger streamers where this is happening a lot, they keep that really, really minimal, okay? Now they might react in a big way to them. So for example, I think Tango Tech and Impulse SV on their streams, they don't have anything automatic that makes a lot of noise on their, well, Tango does, take that back. Impulse doesn't have a lot of things that go automatic on his stream. But yeah, when something comes in, pops up, oh yeah, you don't see a big flashy box, but you do hear, I think it's Shaq, call out, "Can You Dig It?" from, I don't know, it was a celebration parade after they won the NBA championships or whatever. Tango has a hockey goal alarm that goes off. And he says he does it because he didn't get to hear it often when the Coyotes were playing. So it was, they like to control those things. Pearlescent Moon, I don't think has any sounds happen on her stream when something happens. But she does try to make a point of watching the event list so she can call out, oh, so-and-so cheered 1,000 bits, or so-and-so, resubbed for whatever, right? Because they all have their own style. They all have their own approaches to things. They like to do things one way or another based off how they want their presentation to happen. And that's what makes this move by Twitch so weird, because they're forcing it on all streamers, and the streamers don't have a choice, right? They can't do anything about it. So here's some of the things that make this problematic, okay? So like the giant emotes, they take over chat, okay? Because they're just huge. And if you're trying to keep up with chat, and it's hard when you've got 1,000 or 4,000 or well, even more, but the aforementioned streamers I was talking about they tend to sit in that range, the 1,000, 2,000, 4,000 concurrent viewers, and chat tends to scroll a bit, even when they've got it on slow mode. So having something that basically takes up this huge amount of space is a problem, right? A lot of them have rules against posting big ASCII art pictures in chat because it just gets in the way of actually being able to read what people are saying. These giant emotes are the same way. On top of that, a lot of these, it's possible that a lot of these emotes may not necessarily be appropriate for the stream they're on, okay? So Twitch does police emotes to be sure that they are appropriate. So you're not seeing nudity, you're not seeing some of that stuff, right? But on some channels, I'm going to take mine, for example, even though I'm not streaming on Twitch right now, but it's the same idea. My channel is family friendly, okay? I want it to be a welcoming place for anyone ages 13 and up, okay? I want it to be watchable by people who are younger, but you're not allowed to have an account on Twitch or YouTube if you're younger than 13. But I want parents to be able to watch this with their kids hanging out and not worry about something inappropriate, okay? That's just sort of the environment I want to have in my channels. And there are a lot of streamers that are the same way. Well, Twitch recently made a change that allowed things like animated emotes, or the animated emotes that users upload, to have things like twerking and stuff that may not necessarily be appropriate, perhaps on a stream like mine. I certainly wouldn't want to see a lot of twerking emotes in my chat, okay? But to have somebody come in and we're going to drop a giant emote and it's going to be a giant twerking Pepe the Frog or something, could be offensive on a number of reasons. One, I don't want that stuff in my chat in the first place, the twerking anything. And there are a lot of people who, and I can't claim to all of the facts about it, okay? But the perception is reality, so we'll go with it for these people, for these streamers, is that like the Pepe the Frog emotes have been co-opted by racists and bigots, okay? I can't say if that's actually true or not, but that's the perception for a lot of streamers, and so they want to ban any of those types of emotes in their chat. Well, a big smiling frog is not against Twitch's TOS, but it could be making the streamer uncomfortable. And so it's easy for a troll to drop in and, oh, we're just going to spam giant emotes. Now, yes, they have to pay bits to do it, but it still makes the streamer uncomfortable. And that's not, streamers try to build their environment so that they can have as much enjoyment as they share with their viewers. Plus, it just makes it hard to read chat, right? I've probably mentioned that already, but that's really one of the big things for me heck, if I try to watch a stream and chat scrolls, you get a big thing in the middle of it, it makes it hard to see what else is going on, okay? And you've got the same problem, actually, with that special highlight. It's huge, it's bright, it's flashy, and it drowns out a lot of the other chat that's going on. Now, that's sort of the point of it. Look at me, I donated bits, and here's my message. Look at how awesome I am, right? But it can be harder to read. It takes up a lot of space in the chat. And then, of course, it's used by trolls and attention hounds, right? Twitch already has a channel point for highlight my message, okay? Which basically just puts it on a colored background, right? That's all it does, is it puts it on sort of a purple highlight with your text. And I've certainly been in enough chats where people do the highlight my message as a sort of, notice me, senpai, notice me. And so having this big, bright, flashy thing, it's like, yep, notice me. But it's really easy, potentially, to then try to take over a chat conversation by using these types of things, okay? Certainly would be distracting for me as a streamer if I keep getting all these flashing dealy bobs happening in my chat. Now, again, my chat goes fairly slowly, but still, that could be a problem, right? Right, that's, and that's the point. From a streamer's perspective, this is an issue. The highlight I have less of a concern with, okay? Because the reality is it's not that much different from what YouTube does with, their paid super chats and things like that, okay? And while it's bright and obnoxious, it's not nearly as bad as like the giant emote and things like that. If the highlight were a little smaller or something like that, it might be kind of chill with it, all right? But the on-screen celebration, that one sucks, okay? It's one thing if for me, if I as a streamer decide, if I get some big gift sub bomb where someone drops 20 gift subs, 100 gift subs, 3 gift subs, whatever, maybe I'll want to trigger some sort of emote celebration, okay? But I'm making the active choice if I want that. Because the problem when you start doing that is it covers up the action on the screen, right? Which is part of your presentation. And so if you basically get one of these celebrations, it hides what's happening on stream, it's hiding what's actually going on, and it's part of the complaint against Twitch ads in a lot of ways. It's just now taking you away from a live show, and now I can't see what's happening, okay? And it's, in my opinion, it can hurt the presentation. It hurts the stream. Now, again, if the streamer decides, I want to do this as a special event, we got a 50 sub gift bomb or something, cool, let's trigger this. I'm excited about it, but I as a streamer have made that decision, okay? That's cool. Streamers don't have this decision with this power up. And I think when it first rolled out, Twitch didn't really give streamers any warning, and the prices were really low. So you get some of these, I think there was one big streamer, I can't remember who it was. I remember seeing stuff about it on Zach Bussey's Discord. Bussey, by the way, is a fun journalist focusing on the streaming and content creation space. So definitely worth checking out. But apparently his chat was just spamming this thing. And so you could just never see what was going on. He finally figured out what was going on and went in and jacked the price up. But you can't turn it off, okay? Yes, you can set it to 10,000 bits, which again is about $100 US. And that will certainly dissuade most of the trolls. You have to be a pretty dedicated troll to donate $100, right, to be trollish. But you can't stop it completely. Now, unlike the other two, the on-screen celebration power-up does have an option where you can limit the number of times in a period that it's run, okay? The minimum is 1 time per 7 days, okay? That's the minimum frequency you can get this to run. So at worst, this thing will, if someone wants to drop 100 bits on you, at worst, you have to put up with it once a week, okay? But you can't turn it off. If you don't want that to happen at all, you're screwed, right? what do you do? Now, I want to compare this a little bit to a service Twitch rolled out. Heck, was it like almost a year ago now? And I probably have it that time wrong because I haven't. It was after I left Twitch, so it's been within a year. But they have a system they call alerts. Okay, now this is basically all of those alerts that you'd want to configure to pop up when you get a new subscriber or a bunch of gift subs or new follows or cheers and stuff, all that, right? This is very similar to what Stream Elements does, and a lot of other places do that, but Stream Elements does where you go to a web page, you design out all of your alerts, and then you bring a source into OBS, and all of that stuff pops, okay, when you want it to. This is the exact same service on Twitch. I mean, it's not Stream Elements, but it's the same idea, right? You configure your alerts, they do things. You configure your any images that pop up, videos that play, whatever, sounds that play. And then bring down an HTML source to drop into OBS. Okay? Easy peasy. It just handles it. But you get total control over what plays or what doesn't. Okay? So if you don't want alerts, you don't have alerts. Just don't pull that thing into OBS, right? There's an extra step. You can sort of, I want these things from Twitch or these things from Twitch or these other things, right? But you don't have to, right? It's one of the great things, like if you're using Streamlabs or Stream Elements or something else, like I use Mix It Up, which is a desktop app which does those things for me. But like Streamlabs might too, but Stream Elements definitely ties into sites like Fourth Wall. So if you get a somebody buys your merch while you're streaming, it pops an event through Stream Elements and you get a big pop-up. Yay, somebody bought a t-shirt or something, right? Very cool stuff. And you might have some off-service donations, right? Because I've been talking a lot about bits and subs through Twitch, which is all through Twitch. But you might have a service like Ko-fi or Fourth Wall or Patreon or something. Or like Stream Elements has their own donation service, right? So your viewers can go and donate through that service and give you your money, right? A donation or a tip. I actually prefer the term tip, but dono is fairly common throughout the streamer space. Yeah, just an aside, I always think of a donation as something as a charity, right? I am donating to you because for some charitable reason, as opposed to a tip, which is a reward for performance, right? I don't know. It's subtle. Also, at least in the United States, a donation has the implication that there might be some other tax things to it. So I prefer tips. Anyway, all of that aside, you can go to these other sites and have off Twitch finance streams, right? Basically, is like, hey, I'll drop you a tip through Fourth Wall, right? And I have this set up at musicfreegaming.com, where my viewers can subscribe, or they can become paid supporters monthly. They could drop one-time tips. They could buy merch, all of that stuff, and then I could have it all pop up through Mix It Up or Stream Elements or whatever else, right? So it makes sense for me to want to combine all of that stuff into one overlay, right? Or one service that controls. So my alerts all look the same. Well, if I'm now, yeah, I could mix and match, right? And so that's the cool thing about Twitch is they said, look, you're here. Here's the overlay. You don't even have to get started. You don't have to try to find a third-party system that works. we've got something, you can start with that. Now, I'm sure Twitch would prefer that you only use that, but that may or may not be a concern, but at least you've got the option. But that then brings us back to these power-ups. As they take away all that control. All of that control that a streamer has over, hey, I want these alerts, I want them to pop this way, I want them to make these noises. And my question is, why? What's Twitch gunning for here? Now, these are all driven by bits, which means money, right? It's likely that Twitch is doing this as a way to try to drive revenue. But bits have been a thing for a long time, and Twitch has this pretty intense subscriber culture. It's less so on YouTube, okay? I think that's changing a little bit. But on Twitch, paid subscriptions are a thing, and they're just part of the culture. But as Twitch is now starting to raise prices on subscriptions, and maybe they're trying to push people into bits as a way of, I don't know, getting their money if they're canceling all of their subs. I don't know. And actually, the fact that I don't know is why I'm talking about this. I don't know what the heck is going through Twitch's mind, right? And I don't understand why they're not allowing streamers to turn it off in favor of their own bits magic, right? Because there are a bunch of extensions on Twitch, whether it's sound alerts or blurp or any number of other things, where viewers use bits to make things happen on stream. And those bits, well, they go to the viewer, they go to Twitch, and yes, some of them go to the extension developer. And that all drives revenue into Twitch as well. So what is Twitch doing, right? I mean, I was thinking, maybe they're trying to unify a viewer experience, okay, which I could kind of get, but streamers are unique, right? They have their own ways of doing things. They've got their own overlays. They've got things. They want to do things their way. They want to present their content in their way, right? Their performance. They want whatever overlays and webcams. And if they have alerts, they pop in certain ways. And if they've got status bars on the screen that show the latest donation amounts or the latest cheer and tip amounts and who the most recent sub was, right? Right, they control all of that to fit their thing, right? I'm sort of a minimalist, so basically I just have my webcam, and then the alerts pop when they pop. But it's totally up to the streamer of what they want to do. Except Twitch seems to think, no, we think you will have to do things this way. And I don't quite get it, especially the on-screen celebration. So I've been seeing a lot of moves towards simpler, less obtrusive overlays on streams. So for Twitch to start throwing in, we want more intrusive, yay, flashy lights, more intrusive, bright, shiny. For me, it distracts from the stream. It just gets too much noise. Because remember, it's not just the viewer experience that we're talking about here. It's also the streamer experience, right? Because without the streamers, you've got no stream, and you don't have any of that fun stuff. You've got no donations, tips, whatever. You've got no cheers. You've got no subs. Okay? And if a streamer doesn't feel comfortable with what's happening on the platform, and I'm not talking about even all the political weird decision-making coming out of Dan Clancy or whatever else. I'm just talking about what it looks like for the streamer to see what's going on with their chat and what their presentation looks like to their viewers. This is a problem, right? I certainly know streamers that just turn off ads to the greatest extent possible because they hate what it does. As a streamer, they hate what it does to the viewer experience. And I know streamers that, oh yeah, we'll keep them on because the revenue is good and I'm not worried about it too much, because it's a choice, and Twitch seems to be wanting to take away that choice. And I don't understand why. Okay, and help me out. Maybe you understand something. Feel free, drop it in the comments or join the Discord, and I'm happy to talk about it, because this is just confuses the heck out of me. So I don't know. Let me know what you think, because personally, I think Twitch is making a mistake not allowing streamers to turn these things off, or even turn them off individually, right? Hey, maybe I don't mind the special highlight. Maybe I can even put up with a giant emote, but get that on-screen celebration out of here, right? Why can't we do that as streamers? Why can't we allow these things or not? And it really feels like this is a Twitch monetization push. This is a cash grab. Okay, now Twitch needs to make their money, right? If Twitch doesn't make money, they close and everybody's out, right? I have no qualms about Twitch making money. Okay, that's not the issue. But to do it at the expense of their streamers, I think is weird, right? Like, this is something that the reason you talk to your partners, you talk to your affiliates, you talk to your ambassadors. It's like, what the heck is this? Does this make sense for you as a streamer? And I don't think they talk to anybody, right? It just doesn't feel like they got a good feel of this from the Twitch community. I'm not saying that all of their decisions have to get approved by the streamers, of course not. But this is one of those things. It's like, hey, we're going to roll this out, and if the streamers love it, they'll turn it on. And if they don't, they'll turn it off. But I said, it's just really weird. Okay. So that's my take, my question. So I think it's a mistake. Not a mistake necessarily to have them available, but a mistake to not be able to turn them off. But let me know what you think. I'm always curious to know, and if you have any idea what the heck is Twitch doing, let me know. But that's going to be it for the podcast today. Be sure to like this if you're watching this on YouTube, or rate it on your podcast platform. If you want an early version of this podcast, you can get it early in audio form over at musicfreegaming.com as a paid subscriber, paid supporter. So, that's fun. Get it a couple of days early. Otherwise, of course, it's available on all the podcast platforms, or you can just get the RSS feed. Go to musicfreegaming.com/podcast for all of that good stuff. And until next time, be excellent to each other. And this is Music Free Static signing off.